We're Servings of Hope. My name's Inara.
My name's Angie.
And we come from our school's HOSA chapter. We go to Niles Charter School in Austin, Texas, Area 1 of HOSA. And our competition is mental health promotion. And the topic that we chose for this year is eating disorders.
So we chose to go with eating disorders because it's something both of us have struggled with. We have both struggled with our relationships with food, but we have now both come to a better place in said relationships. And we think it's important not only for people to know and understand what eating disorders are, but how many different types there are and how they affect people differently.
And obviously with this competition, it's about mental health promotion. Eating disorders are strongly tied to mental health. There's a lot of aspects to it, whether you see your body image differently, it can lower self-esteem, you can have anxiety, it can cause depression. These things are all correlated, and so we kind of highlight how eating disorders can impact mental health and how mental health can impact eating disorders. As Angie said before, we both have struggled with our relationship with food, and as you can see, we have cups of Buldak right now. It's just kind of be like a sit together, chill type of podcast. If you feel free to eat with us if you want to, if you feel comfortable to. We have many other social medias. If you guys would like to follow us, they'll all be in the link below. So yeah, just follow us. We have so much more to share with people and so much more to show you guys, including videos and skits and stuff like that. And so we're really excited to be doing this. Anything else?
So besides the fact that this is a HOSA competition, we do really want to reach a bigger audience just beyond HOSA, beyond the competition, and just, really get the message out there that eating disorders are a real problem. They're just as important and can cause as much damage as any other illness or any other thing. It's something very serious that affects people in their everyday lives that shouldn't be taken lightly.
And seeing that we're kind of starting this podcast in November, it's really important to highlight Men's Mental Health Month. November is kind of the month to highlight men's mental health, and one thing that a lot of people are doing at our school is they're growing out their beards and mustaches to show support of men's mental health, which I think is really cool. But in regards to our project, this week's topic on our social media platforms is anorexia, and so it's really important to highlight that anorexia is, you can see that a lot within men in our population, and that men usually, the type of eating disorder that men usually have is anorexia nervosa.
I will try to link this somewhere else, but there was a study that said one in every 3 men suffer from eating disorders, which and also majority of suicidal rates have been through men, and they are the ones that seek help the least compared to women. So although from what we see it is most commonly found for eating disorders to be in women, we still have to acknowledge men go through the same. They just sometimes better at hiding it, but we all struggle. We all go through struggles. And something else we did want to add is, since this is our first episode, it's just a sort of like introductory episode, but we will be having guests on our next one.
Yep. So the first thing that we wanted to talk about is our logo, Servings of Hope. Our logo and our name, actually. So with Servings of Hope, we kind of did a lot of research regarding signs and like representation for eating disorder and mental health. And we kind of play into words with servings of hope. Eating disorders obviously relates to food and relationship to food, which is why we chose servings of. But we kind of struggled a little bit to fill in the blanks of that last word there. Hope is kind of ties into our logo, which is the lotus. And we understand that eating disorder already has a well-known sign or well-known logo, I guess you could say. But we decided to go with something different just to play in more with the creativity of what we can do with our project and our mission here. And so with the lotus, we did some research, and the lotus kind of represents balance and growth. And obviously with just mental health in general, you do have to grow, and you're growing every day from the struggles that you go through. And in order to have good mental health, you kind of have to grow into that balance. It's more wellly put on our other social media, such as our TikTok and Instagram. So if you guys want to read about that, you guys can go ahead and read about that. We also know that the colors that represent eating disorders are periwinkle and green, and so our whole entire project surrounds the color green, periwinkle, blue, those kind of shades. And so our logo is periwinkle and green, which also represents eating disorders. And we have a little plate in our logo, kind of ties into our name, Servings of Hope. Yeah, it was a really fun process creating this. We've been thinking about this since the summer. We actually worked at the school, and so we'd come into school and we'd use our free time to kind of come up with ideas of what we'd do. And I think we still have the paper that we started our ideas off of.
It's somewhere in my bag.
Yeah. A couple of ideas that we had were domestic violence and like sexual assault and stuff like that, but ultimately we chose to do eating disorders just because we have such a personal relationship with food, and we've struggled with our relationship with food. And this is a disclaimer, but we have not been diagnosed with eating disorders. Neither of us have been diagnosed with eating disorders like professionally. But we have struggled with our relationship with food. So,
see, there is something that I had. I don't know if it's necessarily considered an eating disorder, but I had this like acid reflux thing.
Mm-hmm.
I lost 20 pounds in a week, which I don't even know how that happened, but it was a very hard time. I was in 8th grade. I would throw up every week. Every week it was always around the same time too. It was like around 8 or 9 in the morning. I would just throw up, and then it would be this weird yellow color every time. It was a very hard, I don't know. I was like a little toothpick, you know? And then it's not necessarily only having lost the weight, but coming from an ethnic household, from an ethnic family, they can't really see a change in you without coming to judge you. And then they're always commenting on whether you gain weight, you lose weight, you can never really fulfill what they want you to be, you know? Do you want to add to that ethnic part?
Oh, yeah. Obviously, we've had our experiences. For me, I think it was just kind of like the environment that I was in, culturally, as well as she said before, like ethnic families tend to have this set on perspective and perception of how you should look like. And so while they might have meant well, their comments have definitely impacted our relationship with food. And this is not to say that the weight that we were at was bad or good. We definitely, maybe we could have lost weight, maybe we could have gained weight, but the way that we did it was not the healthy way to do it. There's so many other ways that you can lose weight or gain weight in a healthy fashion. And so with that, we kind of struggled with our relationship with food, probably skipping meals, probably maybe purging once or twice a day, maybe even more sometimes. And this is a hard topic to talk about. Obviously, not everyone is comfortable talking about it, but we thought that it was really important to highlight it just because it's so overlooked, and a lot of people kind of joke about it, saying like, oh, I skipped a meal, like my eating disorder is like playing, coming out or whatever. But it's important to realize that there are people who are actually struggling with their relationship with food, constantly missing meals, constantly maybe eating more, and that kind of costs them a trip to the hospital where they have to stay for a really long time to recover. As for my personal experience, I just kind of, I guess, skipped meals a lot. I was at 114 pounds at once, and it was 7th and 8th grade. I was the skinniest I had ever been. And while I like looked good and might have like really felt my body was not good at all. Like, I was not getting the nutrients that I needed. I wasn't getting the sleep that I needed as well. I wasn't eating the right things, and so that really messed things up. I spent a long time trying to sort of recover from that. And so it was really difficult, but I'm glad that I worked through it, and now I can enjoy my meals and, you know, create that healthy balance of exercise and eating and balance, and my mental health is also a lot better now, and so, yeah.
Something else I will say is important to note is making sure, I mean, this goes for honestly anything, but making sure you have good people that surround you, good people that support you, whether it's, you know, family, friends, whoever, just to make sure you're not skipping a meal, or to make sure you're eating the right things, making sure you're getting enough protein and everything, making sure your diet is balanced. Or maybe even things just like having friends to go on a walk with, you know, to keep your body healthy, to clear your head. It's not necessarily always about the food you eat. Honestly, sometimes you can eat whatever you would like, as long as you have something to balance it out with, whether you go to the gym, go for a walk, make sure you're staying active. This not only helps with you having a healthy body, but it can help to distract you, you know, as a way to clear your head, because where mental health and how you keep a good mental health is with wellness, taking care of yourself, whether that means taking yourself on a shopping spree or getting breakfast with your friends, lunch, whatever it may be. You need to make sure your mind is in the right place. If you have a healthy body, you have a healthy mind. If you have a healthy mind, you have a healthy body. It's really something that goes hand in hand. And yeah.
Yeah, so like she said, healthy body equals healthy mind. That's kind of our motto for our project. I think it just kind of came to us, like we didn't even need to really think about it, because we were like, okay, well, clearly if you're struggling with eating disorders, you're not really in the best state of mind, because your whole perception of yourself is completely distorted. And so we thought that it would be a really fitting motto to have. So yeah, but I think we should just talk about like our social media and how we're gonna go about it. So for our Instagram and our TikTok, basically have a schedule, and
Facebook.
Oh yes, and our Facebook. She's very, very excited about the Facebook. But basically we have a weekly schedule, and we're going to be posting every single day. It might be a little much for us, but we're really committed to doing this whole thing. For right now, as long as we have content to give you guys, it'll go as follows. Mondays are going to be for the type of eating disorder that we'll be highlighting in the week. Tuesdays are going to be ties to mental health. Wednesdays are going to be a book recommendation. We're both such big readers, and so we were like, this is perfect. Personally, I haven't read most of these books, maybe one or two, but I really hope to get to read these books as well, to get to know more about eating disorders and like other people's personal experiences as well. Thursday, I think it was journal or a challenge. Mm-hmm. And then Friday and Thursday, I think it's one of those. And then Saturday is Celebrity Spotlight. And then our Sunday is going to be highlighting an activity or an event that we had during the week or maybe in the past 2 weeks that we've worked on.
Thursday, journaling. Friday, challenge yourself.
Yeah. So something that we're trying to tackle with this is kind of being informative and also trying to help people who are struggling with eating disorders. Whether or not you're struggling with an eating disorder or not, we want to help people who are struggling with their relationship with food. That should be clarified. Which is why we have journaling and challenges. And so the journaling is just going to be a journal prompt that people can answer in their journal. You don't need to share it with people. That can just be for yourself. And then a challenge is just something to push yourself to kind of take that first step in recovery and to better your relationship with food. Celebrity Spotlight is kind of to highlight that celebrities are also human. There's a lot of celebrities out there that when we were doing research, we didn't realize that they had struggled with eating disorders. And so it's really fascinating reading about their stories. Most of them are in their autobiographies. And so, or interviews, something like that, but we'll highlight that as well. And then activity, which is going to be on Sunday. We probably won't have an activity on our event each week, but we'll try and highlight something that we've done in the past each week. We've actually already had a couple of events in the past that kind of kick-started this project because we knew we wouldn't be able to do that each week.
A couple weeks ago, on October 10th, actually, it was a Friday. It was Mental Health Day, National Mental Health Day. So we set up a little photo booth here at our school just to spread awareness to the fact that, it was Mental Health Day. And although most of the people that took the pictures there were our friends, the intention was still there, And again, now this month is Men's Mental Health Month, so we are planning a little something to do right before we go on to break. Just something to do here, whether it's for our peers or teachers. We're still in the works of that, but there will be updates on that coming soon. Something else, as for the Sundays, we may try to highlight an event or something that we do. Or if we can't do anything yet, we're going to try to highlight or find something that maybe someone else has done and just bring attention to that, because any awareness is good awareness.
Yep. I guess something else to add about it is just there's so much to cover and so little time to cover it. Currently, our deadline is January 26th to submit our digital uploads, and so we have stuff planned out up until probably mid-January already, just stuff that we're gonna do each week. But just because we've covered so much doesn't mean it covers everything. There's still so much to talk about, and we'll even have a health consultant come on our podcast, hopefully maybe after Thanksgiving break. Still trying to plan out a schedule that works for us, but there's just so much to cover and so little time. And so if you guys know more, feel free to contact us, and we'd love to highlight what you know. And if you want to share your story, we would love to share your story with the world, because hearing these stories kind of helps you through it. And so yeah, I guess that's kind of it for our first podcast, kind of just like an intro. We went over our logo and our name, where we come from, and what we're doing with this project. As we said before, ultimately our mission is to spread awareness about eating disorders and the role that it plays within mental health, and also to help push people to take that first step in bettering or improving their relationship with food, which ultimately also improves their overall mental health. Because if you can improve your relationship with food, then your self-image or your body image is also ultimately improving. Your self-esteem is increasing, and maybe you have less anxiety when it comes to eating out with friends or even eating in general. And so that really is our mission here. And we know that this is a competition. We know that this is a project for a competition. But ultimately, our mission is to spread awareness and to really hone in on helping people.
It can also be the first step to a lot of things, not to just what she mentioned, but it can also be the first step to maybe seeking help if you need it. Eating disorders can lead to a lot of other different mental health problems. For example, eating disorders are the cause of a lot of people that commit suicide and things like that. And I think it's important to note that these are real people that go through these things, and it's important to just be aware. Think before you speak, maybe not comment on the way someone looks, because you never know what's really going on behind closed doors. You could look at someone and then be like, wow, they look so perfect, they have such a nice body. And even commenting on their body, whether it's a good or bad thing, you don't know how exactly they'll take it. Whether you compliment them, they might not see it as a compliment. They might think there's something hidden beneath the compliment, and you just never know what someone's going through. And I think it's important to note that we should just be cautious, and also just time and place and things like that. And if you just be really considerate of the other people, you never know what someone's going through.
Yeah. And I just wanted to mention that, like, we read so often about these, like, health problems or, like, science, and we research for our class projects and stuff, and we see all this data. Just a healthy reminder that a lot of this data is actually a person, and actually it's a lot of people. And so when you're seeing these numbers, you have to remember that those numbers come from actual people, and these people are actually experiencing these things. And so even if you're not struggling with your relationship with food, our project is kind of to help them. And so we'll have slides and presentations, maybe even a podcast topic of how you can support your friends or your loved ones who are going through eating disorders. And ultimately remember that behind every data point is a person. So yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah. Thank you guys for watching and listening.
Yes,
we'll be back next week.
Yep. This is Servings of Hope.
Follow our socials, and we will have a website uploaded soon. So,
yep,
get ready for that. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.